From its massive concurrent player base to its $30 billion valuation, it's an understatement to say that Fortnite is one of the most successful games. It's influenced a large part of our childhoods and is growing today at an unbelievable rate, with new seasons every 2 to 3 months filled with updates, characters, weapons, and new content. But Fortnite's future success wasn't always guaranteed, from its disastrous development to a last-minute makeover that saved the game. It's been through its fair share of ups and downs, with hundreds of players publicly predicting the death of the game. Yet, it has seemingly defied the odds, growing faster, breaking records, and expanding its horizons. This is the meteoric rise of Fortnite. I'd like to quickly credit Going Indie, BeastMod, and Wikipedia for their respective sources of information. Naturally, any game's story starts during its development, and to put things simply, the development of Fortnite was a massive disaster. The game was originally unveiled at the 2011 Spike Video Game Awards, and unlike the Battle Royale-centric game we know today, it was being developed as a co-op zombie shooter. The game was also named Fortnite Save the World, a subtitle that would later be removed in the current version of the game. Epic had the intention of moving away from their previous works, notably Gears of War 3, and as Epic's former design director Cliff Kleczynski said, Epic simply wanted to switch things up a little bit and do something different and fun, motivations that would ultimately reward them handsomely. But first came the actual development of Fortnite, and it had quite the rocky start. As it turns out, the 2011 teaser was made 3 weeks after Epic came up with the idea for Fortnite, and development hadn't even begun until after the teaser was released, which already hinted at development problems to come. Regardless, the video caught quite a bit of traction amongst gamers, many of whom were now excited for the declared 2013 release date. However, early in development, Epic would decide to stretch its workforce thin by handling the development of Fortnite while also creating an updated version of their game engine, known as UE4, which they were using to develop Fortnite. This is understandable, as Epic wanted to develop new features in their game engine, which could then be used in the development of Fortnite, but it drastically increased the time necessary to make many of the features. Luckily enough, Unreal Engine 4 was a massive success itself, becoming one of the largest game engines and funding many of Epic's future projects. In addition, Epic Games would receive an investment from Tencent in 2012, which resulted in the removal of several high-level executives out of the community, including Blazensky, who had originally announced Fortnite and had been actively working on it with his team. Thankfully, Darren Sugg, who'd been brought on board to help design systems for Fortnite, took over the lead design of the game. However, because of all the obstacles development had faced, by the time 2013 rolled around, Epic had to announce the delay of the game's release, and was unable to provide a target date. As Epic's vice president of publishing, Mike Fisher, said, Epic recognized that they announced this game too soon. However, in March 2014, Epic managed to get a total of 90 devs working non-stop on the game, and it would soon reach a pretty functional prototype, with the majority of the Unreal 4 kinks worked out. Shortly after, Fortnite would enter closed alpha tests, involving around 50,000 players. But just as it seemed like Fortnite's development was coming along, Epic would announce the development of Paragon, a free team-based action shooter that would end up taking the majority of Epic's focus. However, CEO Tom Sweeney reassured everyone that they were still committed to Fortnite once Paragon would be launched and established, and that Fortnite would be next. Years passed, and by June 2017, Epic resurfaced with the news about Fortnite, which was set to be released a year later in 2018. Fortnite Save the World was later released into early access. However, while in this state, the game cost $40. Because of this outrageous price tag for a game still in development that didn't have the content to back it up, the game flopped terribly, without even making a splash in the gaming community. Because of how hard Fortnite Save the World had flopped, Epic Games decided to shift their focus to making a Battle Royale mode for their game. They got this idea from PUBG, who had released their game midway through Fortnite's development, and due to the Battle Royale structure of their game, had found massive success. So, Epic took the idea, taking systems, gameplay, and assets from Save the World, and using them to develop a Battle Royale version of Fortnite. Here, they did many things right, like their artistic stylization, a unique building system not seen in any other game, and most importantly, the fact that the game was free. Fortnite Battle Royale was released with the main goal of directing players to Fortnite Save the World, which Epic thought was going to be their big success story. However, within the first week, Fortnite Battle Royale blew all of Epic's expectations out of the water, garnering the attention of more than 10 million players in its first 2 weeks. This newfound attention did a few things. Firstly, Epic began to focus its development efforts on what would soon become its cash cow, which led to the unfortunate closure of Paragon servers and the gradual slowing down of development for Save the World. Fortnite was able to find so much initial success due to its unique building mechanics and cartoony graphics, which separated it from many other games and provided it with a much broader target audience that included children. The second thing that happened was that Fortnite attracted the attention of PUBG devs, who realized that Fortnite Battle Royale was in many ways a more successful clone of their Battle Royale mode. Because of this, PUBG declared a lawsuit on Epic Games, and the internet went crazy, publishing articles, making videos, and spreading word of this massive showdown between two of the most promising games of the time. But then, out of nowhere, PUBG dropped the lawsuit. There wasn't any settlement or court battle. PUBG just completely left the scene. It's speculated that this was because Epic and PUBG were both partially owned by Tencent, who wanted to see both games succeed and thus effectively earn more profit. Regardless, Epic Games considered themselves lucky and continued Fortnite's trajectory towards fame. Something that helped push Fortnite so quickly into the spotlight were the hundreds of creators who quickly picked the game up as their main source of content, and in most cases, made their entire channel about Fortnite. This benefited Fortnite with exposure, while allowing these creators to gain massive followings due to the popularity of Fortnite. It's also worth mentioning Fortnite's completely revolutionary monetization system. On release, Fortnite had implemented a skin cycle system, in which skins would only be available in the store for a limited amount of time. This gave many players a sense of FOMO if they didn't collect skins in time, effectively creating an incredibly addicting game loop. Season 2 came with the introduction of the Battle Pass, which was essentially a paid progression system in which players could grind the game in order to unlock tiers that came with rewards, skins, and other prizes. This method was so effective that it has now become the industry standard for monetizing gameplay loops. This would cause Fortnite's player counts to reach an estimated 45 million players by the end of Season 2. Fast forward a few months, and Fortnite had successfully grown into the largest competitive game on the platform, with a user base of nearly 125 million players. However, this is also where we begin to see Epic make some major mistakes. Season 4 came with the introduction of Playgrounds mode, which was meant to be a relaxing open world in which players could practice their building skills and train their gameplay. However, this mode would unexpectedly lead to players becoming absurdly good at the game, being able to build faster than before and shoot with unprecedented accuracy. The skill ceiling had been pushed unbelievably high, with the new players often finding themselves getting absolutely slaughtered in matches. Fortnite's best players looked like they were playing a completely different game from everyone else, and this was one of the first signs that Fortnite was starting to lose its casual, friendly vibe. Season 4 also introduced a crater in the middle of the map, known as Dusty Divot, replacing what was previously Dusty Depot. Players were totally fine with this, and content creators now had more content to talk about. But it would be these same map changes that would start to anger players very shortly. Epic had begun to recognize the increasing skill gap between new players and the best, who had practiced and become unbelievably good. This had started to alienate new players, which would hinder Fortnite's growth. So, Epic set in plans to lower the skill ceiling, which they did by trying to alter the meta. In previous seasons, shotguns had been incredibly powerful, especially considering that by keeping 2 pump shotguns in your inventory, you could constantly switch back and forth between them until they both ran out of ammo. This made build fights incredibly easy for those who got this technique down, allowing them to absolutely destroy other players. In response to this meta, Epic removed the ability to switch shotguns without reloading, introduced an overpowered submachine gun, and buffed the already existing SMGs, allowing new players to play on a more equal playing field. However, this had the inverse effect of what Epic was expecting. The P90, a weapon introduced in Season 5, completely shredded through walls and actually ended up ruining the gaming experience for many players. In addition, all the SMGs dealt stupid amounts of damage and were overpowered beyond belief. Fortnite's meta had now been completely ruined, with even Google Trends showing a substantial decline in Fortnite searches throughout the season. Season 6 would continue the trend, with terrible map changes that the community received terribly, and the introduction of zombies to Fortnite, which nobody liked as they were more of a nuisance than anything else. Certain players had become so good, editing in what seemed like fractions of a second, that they had begun to completely alienate new or casual players from the game. Even some of the players who liked the high skill gap would start to leave the game with the introduction of Epic's overpowered weapons, which were meant to help new players, not anger the existing ones. Season 7 would also come out with an entirely new map, along with a new snowy section that many players didn't like and considered extremely lackluster. The snowy region had also replaced Greasy Grove, which was a popular drop point amongst many players. None of this really sat well with most of Fortnite's user base and compounded Fortnite's decline in popularity. Fast forward a few months to August 2019, and Fortnite's downward decline has not slowed down at all, with Season 8 and 9 being unable to slow Fortnite's descent. However, this month would come with the introduction of Season X, which is arguably known amongst fans as one of the worst seasons. Season X came with the introduction of mechs. They came with an insane amount of health and allowed you to shred through players and builds with incredible ease. Ultimately, all of these factors and unsuccessful seasons led to Fortnite making $1.7 billion less than it had the year before, while also having the lowest monthly players ever recorded. The game's relevancy and surge had also completely dropped off, to a point where it seemed like the game would never recover to its former glory. Epic ended Season X with style, with an event that completely destroyed the current island and left users looking at a black hole where the game used to be. But something was wrong. The new season didn't start like previous seasons had, and the black hole stayed on the screen. Epic had gone dark, not responding to any questions about the black hole or the new season. This had the world going crazy, with people losing their mind over what was happening.
Is blacked out with a black hole, and that's it. There's no way. Shut up. Is Fortnite just shut the game down? Did they just shut the game down?
Finally, 2 days later, Season 11 released, but this time it wasn't a new season. Instead, players were met with Fortnite Chapter 2. The game had better graphics, movement, quicker building, and a completely different map. Fortnite may have labeled it as Chapter 2, but in reality, this was a completely different game, a sequel to Fortnite. Chapter 2 marked a new era for Fortnite, and the collaborations were through the roof. Chapter 2 would give rise to collaborations and skins related to Marvel, DC, Star Wars, God of War, Halo, Tron, and even Fortnite personalities like Laserbeam and Ninja. I mean, for crying out loud, there was an entire Travis Scott concert in the game with millions in attendance. However, the biggest and probably most important change was the fact that Fortnite was now a social game in contrast to being a competitive shooter. That's not to say that Fortnite doesn't have a competitive side, or a learning curve, or a skill ceiling, but it's more to say that Fortnite was now focused on making the player experience casual. It was now more about playing with friends and having fun in the world of Fortnite. Keep this in mind as we'll soon find ourselves looking back at this idea. As a part of Epic's revival of Fortnite, Epic would purchase Psyonix Studios, the development studio behind Rocket League. Gamers were originally excited, with Rocket League's community waiting for the massive news of content updates and changes Epic would bring. But to everyone's surprise, Psyonix Studios and Epic went completely silent on the situation. Neither party talked about the reasoning behind the situation. Psyonix quieted down about future updates to Rocket League, and development seemed to slow down. Less updates were being released and new content was becoming scarcer. Rocket League's players began to speculate that something massive was coming. On top of this, Fortnite had sealed a massive deal with LEGO, but at the time, most of this was simply speculation. Years would pass, with Epic releasing Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 to Fortnite, both of which shared a total of 8 seasons. Throughout this time, Fortnite had almost doubled its user base to 500 million users in 2022, and even managed to surpass its revenue back in 2018, the year when it was on top of the world. But Epic was smart, and had carefully curated a set of plans to just completely launch Fortnite into the stratosphere. On the 3rd of November last year, Fortnite would release the final season for Chapter 4. But this season would be unlike any other season that came before it. The season was titled Fortnite OG, and essentially involved running back to Fortnite's old maps, loot tables, and weapons. When players found out about this, the internet completely exploded, with everyone talking about the new season that would bring Fortnite back to what they considered Fortnite's glory days. The hype train was crazy, and as soon as the update dropped, Fortnite began to obliterate all of its previous records, with 44.7 million players playing Fortnite in a single day. Unbelievably, Epic wasn't even done yet. Remember Epic's acquisition of Psyonix and their deal with LEGO? Well, it was all about to come into play. In the season after OG, which was Chapter 5 Season 1, Epic would release 2 new game modes to Fortnite, being a new racing mode and their open-world LEGO survival game. The racing mode was extremely fun to play, and despite a few kinks in the mode, players absolutely loved it. It came with the added benefit of connecting to your Rocket League account, allowing Rocket League players to bring their skins and cars into Fortnite. What was even more successful and fleshed out was Fortnite's LEGO mode. It was an entirely different game with unique models, animations, mechanics, and building, and received incredibly positive reactions from players. Both of these game modes helped Fortnite maintain its sudden growth, but they also indicated Fortnite's new direction as a game. As I mentioned earlier, Epic had the intention of making Fortnite a social game, an entertainment platform on which players could enter and interact with a wide range of game modes and communities. New LEGO and racing modes both help Epic achieve this goal and indicate Fortnite's new direction as a platform rather than a game. This direction is very similar to Roblox, as a platform that hosts entertainment experiences. Fortnite's story is nothing short of wild, from its disastrous development, last-minute rebrand, and clutch updates that saved the game from dying. And I really think the biggest takeaway is that Fortnite is in good hands. In the near future, Epic will likely expand Fortnite into an even bigger experience, with more game modes, features, and methods of entertainment. Again, I'd like to credit Going Indie, BeastMod, and Wikipedia for their respective information, and with that said, I'll see you in the next one.